What's up, Juventini? Alberto here. Got all your Juve news. All right, Max Allegri wants a midfielder. We're going to take a look at what the rumor mill has to say about that and other targets and a new target for Juventus. And then the Super League gets another small victory that could go a long way in what's going to be a war between them and UEFA. All right, so let's take a look at that today as well. And then you've got Juve's defense starting to get a little bit leaky before this matchup against Roma. What is Max going to do? And how is he going to navigate around some of the injuries as we take a look at the injury status heading into that big game? All right, so like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is the AJC. Let's rock. First things first, Super League. All right, so the Super League got another victory because if Tutto Sports report is correct, and it's something that I've speculated for quite some time, due to the fact that the Super League won in their court case over the monopoly of UEFA and even FIFA trying to interfere and stop this project from kicking off, well, that set a little bit of a precedent. And now Tutto Sport reports that the FIGC cannot ban or dismiss any clubs that wish to partake in that due to it playing into that same situation of UEFA and FIFA holding a monopoly. So now it's being reported by Tuttosport the clubs are free to join as they wish. If this, and it's expected to happen across all the domestic leagues, this would open up clubs to actually give their honest opinions and thoughts on the project and probably want to join. Why would these clubs, if not for fear of being banned from their domestic leagues, not want to partake in a competition that sees them gaining more revenue than they probably could in a lifetime of European play for a lot of these clubs that could get in there? It doesn't make any sense. Of course they're going to want to join. So this is a big step on this ongoing battle with the Super League. UEFA probably eventually is going to have to come into at some point where they're going to have to just finally commit to giving the clubs what they wanted in the first place, which was better revenue share. And if they're unwilling to do that, that is what could be the kicker. But this thing is far from over, and this is another big win for the Super League, all right? But again, this thing is far from over, and it's going to be going for a long time, all right? But the Super League gets another wing. Now, we got to talk about Juventus and their target list, all right? Max Allegri obviously wants a midfielder, but we do have another name that's linked that's not a midfielder, but it's being reported that Juventus is assessing the situation around Marc Cucurella. And if this comes to fruition, this wouldn't be a bad decision, but it's coming out of the blue. Nobody really strong is talking about it, but it would be interesting to be bringing him in as he is a left wing back. And maybe, just maybe, you have Ealing Jr. leaving. This gives protection for Kostic, who I think is in a little bit of a bad run, all right? So an interesting one there. Thiago Djalo remains in the rumor mill linked to Juventus, all right? But it's interesting here because Inter really wants the player as well, but it's said that Inter wants to strike in the summer. Lille is pushing for a move in this winter mercato, and this is what could open the door for Juventus to be picking up Thiago Djalo. That's going to be an interesting one to watch, all right? Now, we get to the midfield. We keep hearing Max Allegri wants a midfielder to join in the winter mercato, all right, despite what he is saying in front of the cameras. Juve had confirmed discussions around DePaul. However, Atletico Madrid is not moving the player whatsoever. Hojbjerg and Phillips continue to be linked with the club. Phillips, we know, could be a loan with an option on the back side of it. Now, apparently, Tottenham is open to the same type of deal for Hojbjerg, a loan with a 30 million purchase at the end of it. I still don't believe Juve is going to commit to either one of those players. And if they're not just loans, I don't think they're going to go for it. Enter in the discussion a player that's not necessarily a midfielder, but could fill in if need be, as he did before. Bernardeschi, I wouldn't be surprised if things don't work out around all these other targets and Bernardeschi comes in. And maybe, just maybe, he can also play that 10 role and share it with Yildiz. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what Juventus does, but I have a feeling somebody, at least one player, is coming in when you lose Pogba and Fagioli. We have to wait and see. The injury status ahead of a big game against Roma. Chiesa is expected to be in the squad list, albeit maybe off the bench, which could open the door for Yildiz to get another start, okay? Locatelli, same situation as with the ribs there. He's got an injury that's going to have to be monitored due to pain threshold. He might be out against Roma. That would open the door for Hans Nicolosi Caviglia to get another key start, all right? McKennie, no injury and will be available for that game. There are reports saying Max is unsure whether he's going to play him at right wing back or in the midfield. I would expect him to be in the midfield, especially if Locatelli is out. Hans Nicolosi Caviglia, Rabiot, and McKennie will probably make up your midfield. No Cambiaso available to play at right wing back, so probably Timothy Weah will get a start, and we are needing him to make the same type of impact he had in the preseason. Sandro, not expected in. He has an injury. It is very, very minor. However, Juve taking their time with him. I don't think this is make or break for us regardless. Bremer is done. The extension is finalized for Gleison Bremer. Long-term, looking to 2028. Expected to be signed within the next couple days. But all our question marks are around the defense all of a sudden as of late, as we have conceded 5 goals in our last 6 games. Now, for me, what are the solutions? Well, this is where it gets interesting for me. Rugani has to be out there. I believe our best back 3 is Gatti, Bremer, and Rugani. I am willing to see Danilo on the right side with Danilo, Bremer, and Rugani. However, I don't want to sacrifice a lot of Gatti's minutes to do that. So I think you got to go with what was the best, okay? And you also have to stop disrespecting teams when you go 1-0 up. Juve's done a fantastic job of getting the jump on teams, taking that 1-0 lead, but the play starts to drop off, slow down, and we lose that intensity, we lose that aggression. You can't do that. If we correct those 2 things, I think we'll be absolutely just fine, all right? So, Rugani, back in. That's my call, but you guys know the drill. I want to hear your thoughts on all of this, okay? Super League, our targets. Do you think one of Hojbjerg or Phillips is coming in? Can you see Bernardeschi returning? What do you think's going to go down? How would you line us up against Roma, all right? And, of course, Rugani, does he need to get back in there? Hit me in the comment section, everybody, all right? Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's mix it up. I can't wait. And until tomorrow's edition, as always, fino alla fine, forza Juve.